Hey YouTube, Lawler here. As always, it's time for another open event for the RLCS. This time it's Europe's time for open number 4. We've got our top 16 teams in 2 groups of double elimination, battling to see who makes top 8 and then eventually goes on and takes home the trophy. That'll be all going down on Friday starting at 10 a.m. Central. Stop by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler. We'll be watching with everybody in chat and hanging out. Shout outs to all of you who are hanging out with us in chat as we go through these predictions. If you guys ever want to see the long form version of these, come over and check out the VODs on Twitch. We actually kind of talk through the process a little bit more and give you an elongated version of the thought process, kind of where we do the humming and hawing. But for you guys on YouTube, this is the TLDR, the very quick version. Otherwise, you're going to get like a 40-minute prediction video, which I don't think anybody wants. So with that in mind, we're going to start with Group A, then we're going to go Group B and go through the final bracket. Let's talk about the thought process. Getting it out of the way, we didn't do a tier list this region for EU because we figured we would cover it in this video. Primarily for you all, my hierarchy of like teams, I think the top 6, top 7 of EU are very, very good. I think you've got obviously K Corp, Vitality, Dignitas, NIP, GK, and then from there it gets a little bit interesting. I think K Corp and Vitality will find a way to the major no matter what. But similar regards, and this is stuff I've been talking about throughout the week, over to NA, where I have Complexity, Gen G, and SSG all fighting for 2 spots for the major because I think 100% NRG and Ultimates are locked in. Very similar regards here. I have a full belief that I think we are going to see Vitality and K Corp make it, and we are going to see between NIP, Dig, and GK fighting for those spots. Very interested to see on what some of these newcomers do with the new forming of BDS, with Juke and Nico and Matzer, and what they can do. Is Gentlemate's going to improve with Eugen? How are things going to play out? Very interested to see that and see how things play out in those regards. So kind of a general easy hierarchy of how I think things will play, but let's talk about the actual predictions. Again, as a reminder, and I have to say this every single time, these will not be right. It is impossible for me to predict these with accuracy as a all-in-one type prediction without seeing them play, how they're performing on the weekend, all that kind of stuff. If we were picking these game by game, it'd be a lot more accurate. If you want to see that, stop by the stream when we watch these. With that in mind, I have NIP and K Corp fighting through their first round relatively with ease. I do think K Corp tends to start a little bit slow, but I don't see a world where they succumb to the new Smoky Bacon Association. This is just another iteration of Monkeys, where it is Matane and friends with Andy as coach. It's the same thing every single time. But we've got Matane, we've got Smokes, and we now have Compact, who I do think is a good addition, but not against K Corp. I don't think it's going to matter. And for NIP, this is a rematch against K Corp. We're going to see these two, I think, match up a lot until an upset happens. NIP is coming in as the #1 seed because they did actually beat K Corp in Swiss. I think bracket play, K Corp's usually a little bit built different. So I have it going to 5. Anytime you see a game 5, I think it could go either way. So I do have K Corp beating NIP as the top seed. That drops NIP down. Vitality going up against K-Dop's new team. And then you have Fast Forward versus Adam Unity. Fast Forward did make some changes as well. I think they're just a little bit better, but Vitality should be able to handle that. My curiosity is, Vitality, are they capable of taking what they can do online and bringing that, or not, let's say the opposite. What are they capable of doing what they do on LAN, where they are a very systematic approach? Because if we forget, the first couple days of that major, Vitality looked like the best offense. Can they translate that back online now that they've had a little bit of time to adjust and react? I don't know. A lot of questions need to be answered. I'm still thinking Vitality and K Corp are the 2 strongest. Maybe some other things to answer. A lot of teams need to answer some questions. We dropped that down to lowers. 100% historically has done very, very well in double elimination. But at what point can 100% keep going to game 5, OT, 1 goal, needing to play reverse sweep or down? Like, I'm going to choose to believe in Compact. We know what we're getting at 100%. Maybe the new team will have some advantages. Historically, 100% is the one that'll make it through, but we'll see. And I just think that this team has more talent than Fast Forward. EJBY, Mike Boy, and who's their third? Growly. I'm going to go with Smokes, Metane, and Compact. I think Compact's a good addition. So we'll see how that goes. On the other side, we're going to believe in the old guard with K-Dop and Astral. And I think they've got Riz Fox or Rise Fox, however you say his name, instead of Adam Unity. And then NIP should make quick work of that. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow NIP throws this. That would be very painful if it did. Over on the other group, Dignitas making it through up against GK. I could see this going both ways. GK to me is one of those teams when they get going on offense, they are absolutely lethal. Who knows how that'll go? As for Dignitas, I'm still not fully convinced. They continue to come out and do very well in their matches where they show, hey, we are significantly better than the teams below us when we're talking top 32 type stuff. But can they do that against teams that are on equal ground? I talk about teams that are fighting for those spots between Dignitas, between GK, between NIP. Which of the two are going to round out that top 4? Matches like this are the most crucial. You've got to beat the competition that is either on equal footing or slightly above you. They have to find a way to separate themselves and give themselves advantages, because a win here is the difference between a guaranteed top 6 versus top 8 and having to battle through an unpredictable bracket sometimes. They need to win these. It's a big deal. Between Synergy and BDS, I would assume Synergy is going to win. I'm just not sold on Synergy. I was looking at strength of schedule and who people were playing in Swiss. I don't like Synergy beat anybody of note, if I'm being completely honest. Is their team edition with Rizex going to be enough with AJG and Dorito? I don't know. It looked okay in Swiss. They controlled what was in front of them. But I also like kind of believing in the young kids with nothing to lose. They were just trying to rep some experience. We'll see how it goes. I could see Synergy winning that one, though. JJ Rocks versus Mates. Same thing with JJ Rocks. Nobody to note that they beat Marked by 8, Steak and Ride, Spanish Bim Bam 101. I would like to hope that Mates with Seiko and Eugen can beat that. Juicy's no slouch either. They need to make some changes. So far, Mates have not looked that great. I think they'll get better in time. Another week of practice. Hopefully, they start to increase. And I would like to hope some of the veterans are going to beat some of the young kids. I do feel BDS, though, as time progresses, may get better and better. It may not be this week. Probably going to be Regional 5. We'll start to see a little bit more out of them. On the low side, Tokyo Tigers with just cash in them. I'm just not convinced. I'm actually choosing to believe in the new, young, and upcoming talent. And BSK is chocked full of it. They've got Mozzarella, French player who's really good. Rust Easy 95, who's also French and very talented. And then Pisky. If you guys don't know Pisky, that is actually whiskey drink, but it's an E for everyone game, so you can't have whiskey in your name. So I'm choosing to believe in BSK. Somehow, Cash will find a way to throw those series. It's historic and how it happens. I don't know why. Whether it was Williams Resolve or Monkeys slash God, what was that? What was that org? Misfits or whoever. It's all the same. Outside of that, I think the reason why I give this to BDS is because I think BDS's talent with Nico, Juke, and Matzer is better than the talent of Mozzarella and Rust. And this should be a very similar matchup, a very familiar matchup, because the players are all kind of in the same echelon or the same tier of play. I think there's going to be some familiarity. This, to me, feels like a ranked 6-man's match. I'm going to believe in the ones that are ascending. On the low side, GK coming out on top. I think they're pretty happy about whoever comes down from here. Whether it's them or Dignitas, I have both of them winning. Synergy, I'm choosing to believe over that team over JJ Rocks because I'm not too keen on the Spanish Bim Bam style. And then GK should be able to handle that just purely off of talent alone. So with that in mind, we then drop down to our actual final bracket, and this is what I got happening. I think Vitality, albeit some hiccups here and there, should be able to beat Mates. I just don't think Mates are in the place right now to go and really make a run for it. Although I do think Vitality, if I am between one of those two, I definitely want Vitality and not K-Corp. I have a hard time betting against K-Corp because they haven't given me a reason to. Until someone shows me that they are going to lose when everything is on the line, I'm going to keep believing in K-Corp, and it's impossible for me not to. To me, Dignitas still has some questions that I need answered. They've had highs, they've had lows. They are potentially one of those teams that I think can go and make a heroic run because they've definitely got the talent. But then there's other times where I'm like, what happened here? Why did you guys fall apart? Why do you not have the polish you just had? Usually it's the case of people are beating them at their own game. They're faster, they're more aggressive, they facilitate better. But as you guys know, my bias is I'm going to be all eyes on NIP. I think this run is very, very healthy for them. But this would be the third time this weekend they run into K-Corp. Can they do it when it matters? I, in my heart of hearts, and have left them off the power rankings due to your guys' complaints in the YouTube comments, I genuinely believe that NIP can easily become a solidified top 3 in Europe. I think they've got the talent. I think they've got the skill. They are fully capable of being top 3. And I believe that. But if the results don't happen, then I need to get over my bias of it. And I need to be like, you know what? They have the talent, but they're not living up to it. Something's got to give. So I do believe that Snasky and those boys can make something happen. But if they keep running into K-Corp, man, they've got to find a way, because that is a team that if they go to LAN, I swear it is going to make EU even stronger. Conversation continues to be this team and these two, Dig and GK. Whoever can win those head-to-heads is really important, and I do have GK getting the revenge in the bracket. Dignitas may have won the battle, but they are definitely not winning the war. That's how I feel. When pressure's on, Dig has not been there while GK has thrived in it. So I'm going to continue to believe in that narrative. I think GK Vitality, GK, we're going to actually make this go to 7. I do believe GK can win this. I would not be surprised if GK finds a way to beat a Vitality that has historically struggled online. But I do not have anyone beating K-Corp. K-Corp's just that team. Until they give me a reason to not believe, I'm going to keep believing them. I think Jolly's the best player in the world. I don't think that's changing anytime soon. I think he is that guy. I think Monkey Moon's the GOAT currently, but GOAT status doesn't perform until we get to the World Championship and when it matters most. We'll see. Again, EU's really strong. I look at EU's top 5 and I go, I don't want that smoke. I don't want anything to do with it because I'm not going to win. With that in mind, that's what I've got for my predictions. Matches will begin on Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern. If you guys want to make sure you tune into those, stop by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler. Let me know what you guys got as your top 5 down below. I'd be curious to hear you guys' power rankings. But I'm out of here. As always, hit up the socials that are in the description. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.